Hi, everyone. I'm Desiree Brown, and you're listening to the Young Eager Writers podcast. I'm here with Will Walker. Will, if you just want to introduce yourself, talk about what you write, your writing education, etc.
Okay, yeah, I'm Will Walker. I write under William Walker and H.W. Walker. I do mainly short fiction. Um, Tried my hand at novel writing a couple of times. It never really goes anywhere. Um, I got into writing, I guess, when I was a kid. I would write stories. I'd read and then say, like, I want to do one too. And I'd make little books and all that. But I don't. My writing education began in college. I was a computer science major, and I would just take um, English courses to like boost my GPA because I wouldn't do well in my other classes. And so finally, I just decided I'm gonna, you know, take the leap and start doing creative writing at UNC Charlotte.
So you decided to switch completely, like from computer science, and then English became your major, right?
Yeah,
Okay, awesome.
yeah.
And then, but now you've been accepted into an MFA program.
Yes, at University of Central Florida.
Awesome. And so I love how modest you are too. You're very, oh yeah, I'm just Will,
Oh
normal
yeah.
Will. So how many grad schools did you apply to through this process?
I applied to 13. Um, and I tried to do a mix of the really stretch kind of schools like, Iowa and places like that. And then I tried to pepper in some schools that I felt more confident getting into. I mean, they're still competitive because they were all fully funded. I didn't apply anywhere that wasn't, but I felt more competitive with. So lots of schools in Florida, mostly because I wanted to move to Florida. Um, so yeah, 13 overall though.
So that's pretty much what you were looking for. So you wanted places where you got full funding. Did
Hmm.
you Google the faculty? Did that play a part in your choosings?
I did. So my narrowing process was all about the money, you know, and I didn't say like I'm only gonna apply to this place or I need to apply to this place because of so and so faculty. Now there were some programs that were funded that once I looked into them, I was able to be like, I don't think I'm gonna fit here, and so I didn't apply. There were some schools. So I guess what I'm saying is there were no schools where I'm like I need to apply because of the faculty. In some places, the faculty turned me off.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Either because they were just it just seemed like their interests in writing were just completely different than mine. And
Hmm.
you look into what books the professors had published and things like that, and you're like that. For me, it's like if the professor has published a book that I don't want to read, then I don't know if I want to go sit in a workshop with them because we're clearly just not going to agree.
Yeah. And I think that's important to make sure that it's a program that really suits you. So there were some that you came across that you decided then, no, this doesn't work.
Yeah.
Got it. And then what was the submission process like? So a lot of the times for MFA programs, Masters of Fine Arts programs, they're asking for a statement of purpose, a writing sample. Did each place ask for all of those?
Yeah, everywhere wanted the statement of purpose and um, the writing sample, the portfolio. I don't. I think a couple of them wanted like an essay on top of that, like a sort of entrance essay. Um, but most of them were just the uh, portfolio and the statement of purpose. A couple of them wanted you to have a portfolio of both creative writing and like academic writing, and that also disqualified them in my book.
Got it. Yeah.
Because I did not want. First off, I didn't have a very impressive resume of academic writing, and then I didn't want to go there and be trying to do that. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
not what I'm trying to do.
So what was most difficult to put together, you think? Probably the statement of
Oh
purpose
yeah. Oh yeah.
More than the writing sample?
Oh, for sure. The statement of purpose is so awkward, and they have very bizarre links. Um, UT Austin, the new writers program project is, I think that one was 2 pages statement of purpose, and then the Michener Center, which is at the same school, is 500 words.
Oh,
So it's
wow.
just like wildly different. And it's one of those things, writing about yourself. Like it's awkward, and especially with an MFA where the main reason why they're bringing you on is the quality of your portfolio. It's like, why, I just felt like I don't know what I'm saying here. I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to just be like, I will read the thing. If you
Yeah.
like me, I'll come, you know. But that was definitely, that took me the longest. And in the end, I mean, my statement of purpose, I clearly was serviceable, but it wasn't anything fantastic.
Mm-hmm. So you think they probably um, maybe put more weight on the writing sample than the statement of purpose?
100%. I mean, I think it's almost all, at least in the school that I got into, I feel like it's almost all on the portfolio. Like I said, my statement of purpose wasn't particularly great. My GPA was not competitive at all. I think I graduated with a 2.75.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just not at all. They didn't bring me on because of my academics. Let's put it that way. Uh, and then, yeah, I think it was all the portfolio.
Yeah. That's good to know, though. I mean, because you're going in to be a writer, and if you
Mm,
can't write, then, you might have a great statement of purpose. You might be a perfect person, but yeah, it seems like a lot of weight goes on the writing sample.
yeah,
So, did you have to take the GREs? Because I know a lot of MFA programs, they don't ask for GREs anymore.
yeah. Some of them didn't. Some of them did, and so I did take the GRE. And I did. I can't remember my exact scores, but I did well on the English portion. I think I was in the 90th percentile or something like that. But then my math portion, I was like bottom barrel. I think I was in like the bottom 20th percentile or something like that. Like just something terrible. I bombed it. So I submitted it. I can't remember if UCF took it or not, but a few of them did
Mm-hmm.
require it. So I did have to take it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the programs that, or at least from people I've spoken to, more and more places are not accepting juries
Mm,
because they don't care about them, especially for writing.
yeah,
They just
it's not very indicative of what your product's going to be, because that's what they want, is for you to, I mean, really, maybe this is cynical, but if it feels like what they really want is to come in, have a writer that they can really help build something, and then that writer go on to have a career in it, and then essentially it brings some level of prestige back on the school
mm,
to have done that. So I don't know if if your GRE score is really, I think there, some of the schools themselves have um, just mandatory minimums essentially of for any grad student. And I think
mm-hmm.
that's what that was. A lot of that was, I think, was jumping through hoops just to get through the grad student, application process.
Mm-hmm. So when you go and you leave in a week from now, 2 weeks,
A week
a
or
week from
10
now.
days. Yeah.
So when you go, what's the one thing that you're looking forward to most?
I'm looking forward to getting back into school. I like the environment for, I'm one of those that I need to have like hard deadlines, that I work better under those. Um, I had the last semester at UNC Charlotte, I was doing a independent study, and the essentially the final for that was for me to turn in 40,000 words of a novel, and I got it done. And in fact, I procrastinated really bad on it. Like come Thanksgiving, I had maybe 5,000 words. I had nothing, and I was still
Mm-hmm.
able to get it all done. And then since I've been off, I mean, I've gotten work done. Don't get me wrong, but it's just not the same level of output. Um, I just I work better under the pressure. So that's kind of what I'm most excited for, is to get in, meet the people, but then have a deadline that I have to hit.
Yeah. And then from this program, either while you're in it or after you graduate from it, what's the main thing that you want to accomplish from it?
From going to the program?
Yeah, from either having the degree or
Okay.
something that you really want to learn.
So the of course the main goal I think would be to make my money doing writing, right? To support myself on it. I'm not trying to get rich. I would like to be able to support myself with my writing. So, in a lot of ways, the MFA is great because, you know, on top of developing yourself as a better writer, if you get into a program that is funded like mine, then I don't have to worry about, getting a job or stuff like that. In the meantime, I can focus on working, and the is it the dissertation? I'm not sure. The final thing you have to do to graduate is you have to produce a book length manuscript. So hopefully I'll be walking out of the program with both the degree and a manuscript that I could hopefully sell, and begin a career. Um, Assuming that I'm not going to be able to make all my money writing, which a lot of writers don't get to do, um, the MFA does qualify me then to teach at the junior college level, which is what I would want to do. Other than
Hmm.
that, would be teach junior college.
So I have two more questions here for you.
Mm-hmm.
One is, because this podcast is for young writers, is there any advice you have for either high school students who are applying to colleges or college students applying to MFA programs?
Um, I think the okay. So my advice to a high school student, I don't have much because I mean I'll share this. I am a high school dropout. Like I failed all through middle school. Really, barely made it through middle school. Never made it out of the 10th grade. I don't know if I ever made it out of the 10th grade. I'm not sure I even got into it. And then I dropped out. I went to Central Piedmont. A junior college here in Charlotte for 2 years before transferring. So, um, my advice to a high school student would be that, you know, I'm not telling you don't focus on your grades, don't try hard, right? Like, definitely do that. But if your work is, you're going to live and die by your work. So if you're feeling like, hey, I'm really proud of my work, but I'm not so sure about the grades, my experience would say that your work is going to carry you further than the grades. And then same, I guess, would go for the college students. Like, don't be nervous about having a blemish uh, on your transcript. I mean, I have plenty of blemishes on my transcript. I have entire semesters that were a wash. And again, I think it's just the quality of the work that'll carry you through.
Yeah, that was great advice. Like, I I love that because I think it's really important for people to understand that you're right. You live and you die by your work, and that's what you need to focus on. I mean, people have so many things that they go through in life, but it's what you're producing and what you're putting out there that's really going to matter at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
And then my last question, I always ask kind of like a fun question. Sometimes they're difficult to answer, sometimes not so much. But if you could teach, you talk about teaching, if you could be a professor at any university, where would you choose?
Where would I choose? Oh, it's tough. Um, like I said, I teach at a junior college. I would probably be, I don't really have an attachment to any specific place. So I guess if I had to pick, it'd be either a junior college, wherever they'll take me, hopefully in a city. I'm
Mm-hmm.
a city guy. But I'd also like to teach at least for a little while at the University of Memphis. I'm from Memphis. And I think it'd be an interesting place to go and to teach at.
That's cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome. Because I think can you? I think you can teach at like University of or North Carolina Charlotte, right?
Yeah, I mean the MFA is terminal, right? Like so it'll qualify you to teach at the university level, but nowadays they're getting more and more people who have doctorates in creative writing. One of our professors had at least one had a doctorate in creative writing. So you know, I mean, if you have an MFA from say Iowa, I think one of our professors had an MFA from Iowa. Um, you're gonna get a job where at a university, but some of the other schools, I mean, you might need that PhD, and I'm not sure as it stands that I'll want to do a PhD.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Florida has a pretty fantastic program. I doubt you would need one. I feel like an
Not to do
MFA
what
would
I
be
want to
enough.
do. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to gun for like this really prestigious academic job. That's not really for me. I want to be you know somewhere where I'm interacting with people like myself. You know what I mean? Kids that maybe didn't know what they were doing, or for one reason or the other, had been kind of left behind, and
Mm-hmm.
work with them. So I don't, not to say that those kids don't ever end up in Harvard, right? But I don't feel like my skill set would be best suited for a place like that.
Well, Will, I want to thank you, and I want to wish you luck when you go to Florida, and good luck with your program. If you guys want to hear any other episodes, we have them all at youngeagerwriters.org. Thank you.